welcome. This video is going to be a start to finish guide to how to schedule your first live on WhatNot and all the things that you can do, and some recommendations as well from myself. I've been on WhatNot since last year. If you are not familiar with WhatNot, it is a live auction reselling platform. So, you know, just like QVC, it's QVC for Gen Z, to be honest. That's what it feels like to me. It's people are live in their house or in their warehouse or in their workspace, and they show a garment that they have listed, and then they start everything off at whatever their start rate is. The prevailing thing is $1, and people bid on it, and some things sell, some things don't sell. And it has been around for a couple years now, but recently it has really caught on as far as 2022 goes. So if you maybe want to start selling on WhatNot, here's kind of basically how to do it. And then if you want to get your foot in the door, I do have a link down below, seller referral. I have a regular referral, so if you just want to use the app and kind of like look and see before you decide if you want to sell on it, there's an invite where you get $10 for your first auction to buy stuff, and then the seller recommendation is down there as well. Now, as far as becoming a seller goes, so when you click that little thing, apply to WhatNot, if you do not click someone's link to become a seller, either way, it's going to take you to a place where it is asking you to fill out a form. When I did it, I had to fill out a form and apply to be a seller on WhatNot. I put in all of my contact information, you know, address, and also social media, because it is a lot easier to sell on the app if you already have a social media presence. However, it is not prohibitive to sell on the app if you do not have a large social media platform. I will state that it is a very male-heavy audience. So if you are a female seller who sells female and male clothing, chances are you might cut a little bit to the front of the line. This is just something that I've kind of seen, and then also know that they're trying to get more female market share. So just putting that out there. What you're going to do is they're going to onboard you if you get accepted. And they will have like some big Zoom meeting, and you'll be there with a bunch of other people. If you're super awesome, they'll just have a one-on-one Zoom meeting with you. But otherwise, they will have a big blanket Zoom meeting with a bunch of other people, and they'll go over how to sell on the app, what the things that they like to see. Currently, they are recommending their sellers play music. I would recommend not doing that unless you own the rights to that music, and by rights I mean you don't own the CD. That doesn't count as having rights to play that music. I'm just looking out for future videos as someone who is a Twitch partner. Like last couple years, Twitch got hit really hard with the DMCA takedowns. WhatNot's still small enough you can get away with it, so you do you, but I personally use the same music that I have licensed to play on Twitch and on YouTube. I use Monstercat Gold. It's just something I used. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I pay $8 a month to be able to play music on my stream and also play music. I use music in my videos. So you can play music if you want to. They recommend you do that. They recommend it to be basically a live streaming show. As someone who, again, comes from Twitch, they want people who's going to talk the whole time, be entertaining, have a good flow, like just, it needs to go. And especially with them starting in the collectible market, you know, with comic books and Funko Pops, it's very much a hype beast type of deal. So what you're going to do, I'm going to actually do this on my phone, so I'm going to scoot over so that way the phone stuff can be over here. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to bring up your app. Click the WhatNot. I have been cleared to sell, so what I'm going to do is I am going to click on this little tiny person down here at the bottom, and that's going to bring me automatically to the buyer section, because there are more buyers than there are sellers on the platform. See my friend Matt, Thrift of Life there. I've bookmarked his sale. I'm going to click over to the seller tab, and you see I already have a show scheduled, but I need to show you how to schedule a show, so we're going to schedule next week's show. So what you're going to do is hit the little plus button at the top. I have an iPhone, by the way, so the app may look slightly different if you are not on Apple iOS. It should be similar. Hit the little plus button up top. It's going to come up schedule a live show. You're going to click schedule a live show. Show title. I like to put what I'm doing for the month of June. I've been doing all vintage women's clothing from the aughts to the 60s, so that's what I'm going to do. Y2K to 60s, women's, and 80s. There we go. I let it auto-correct it for me. And then the show description, it is optional. I will normally do, I have 20 pieces. There are people like my friend Matt, who you saw at the beginning, he does like over 100. There are some people that do like a couple of hundred and stream for like multiple hours. I have a disability, so my ability to stand and be that on is limited. So I limit mine to 20 pieces because that means that I will be on the app for an hour for my live show, which is something that I can do and not have a flare-up of my disability. So 20 items, $1 starts. So just $1 starts. Cool. I do not have any moderators. My streams are not large enough to where I really need a moderator. So at least currently anyway. So now I'm going to go to date, and I'm going to pick the Monday that I have not picked already. So that's the 27th. And then I'm going to time. I do all my auctions at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because that's a good time that works for me personally. So I'm not going to upload or record a video. I will show you how I do that process a little bit later on in this video. So my primary category for this again is going to be vintage. So it says vintage and thrift fashion. I'm 100% vintage for this show. And I also have specific sizes. So I am women's, small, and medium. That is what I'm currently doing on WhatNot, which I will go into a little bit later. There is no explicit content. None of the music I play has explicit words in it. And then I don't need to mute any words because, again, I don't really have a following that is going to say nasty things to me. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the schedule button. And there it is. All right, if I click down, the little down arrow, and click back to buyer, and click back to seller, there you go. I have two of me now. So now I have two shows scheduled. And so now the next thing that I'm going to do, or that I do, is that I then pick the 20 pieces that I am going to put up on my WhatNot. So I do have a huge estate sale buyout, which is why for the month of June I've been doing vintage women's exclusively. It's because I'm trying to move some of this vintage stuff that I've just not had an opportunity or the drive to list. And this is a great way to force me to list them. And so I'm gonna go pick the 20 pieces and also a couple outfits. And I will show you why I do a couple of outfits. So the items that I choose, I personally like to stick to items that are first class and less, just because of the shipping changes. People are kind of like about priority shipping unless they're buying a whole bunch of stuff at the same time. So until that evens out, I'm kind of just sticking to first class items. You do you, especially if you have something like super valuable. You know, if you have like one of those ridiculous all over starter jackets with a popular NFL team that is actually a good NFL team, chances are someone is willing to pay priority shipping for that on the WhatNot app. But the stuff that I'm selling, maybe not. So I'm just sticking to first class stuff. Again, you do you. That's just a tip that I have. Plus, it's also just easier to ship. So another thing that I would recommend, especially if you are new to the platform or are new to the app, is that you pick stuff out that you are going to sell, that if it sells for $1 or less, you will be okay with that. Now, I say that because of how WhatNot does its fees. If I sell something for $1, that means my payout for that item, if it sells for $1, if I do $1 starts, is going to be between $40 to 60 cents. So if you are buying clothing for $5 at a retail thrift and you go to sell it on WhatNot and you do a $1 start and it only sells for $1, you just lost $4. $4.50 actually. So this particular estate sale buyout, which is why I'm using it, I paid $106 for basically 400 pieces of clothing. So that's roughly 25 cents a piece. So I'm still making a little bit of money. And that's just for the clothing. I also had other pieces as well, other estate sale stuff like glass and ceramic and that kind of stuff. And that was all included in that 106. So I know that even if I do $1 starts with any of this stuff, I am not going to lose any money. And I do feel like that's important, especially if you are going to do $1 starts. Now, when I began on WhatNot, I actually didn't do $1 starts because I didn't have stuff that I could only sell for $1 and be okay with that. I did $5 starts. I do not recommend you do $5 starts unless you're doing stuff that's really in demand. So like if you're doing menswear, like hot menswear that has high sell-through, hot vintage tees, or really, really in-demand Funko Pops, yeah, you can start it off at $5, $10, whatever. Totally can do that. But again, you have to make sure you're comfortable with the profit of where you started at. So that's what I did at the beginning because I was doing mostly vintage men's stuff that was really popular here on the app. So I was starting it basically at what I paid for it, and then if it sold for more than that, I was really good. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what I pulled. And then I'll show you why I pick outfits. Here's my stain treating stuff. You can see here that I actually have a couple of pieces. When I pulled them, I needed to stain treat them before making them go live, so that's doing its thing right now. I'd like to say you don't have to do that. There are plenty of people that just disclose the flaws, like pulls or tears or stains. They just disclose it while they're doing the thing, and actually some of them don't even disclose it. I've seen some where like you see there's a flaw and they say there's no flaw. WhatNot is definitely like a Wild West show right now, but I have pulled all the pieces besides the ones that are currently in the washing machine. So these are all of the pieces right here. I've got 20 if you count what's in the washing machine, and I've made an outfit. So come on, there we go. So this is actually the lady that previously owned these clothes made this outfit. This is a 70s vest thing with this lovely 70s shirt. And then this skirt. Do the patterns match? No, but they don't have to, because I'm gonna pair it with this hat and this pair of shoes. Why am I going to do that? It just kind of goes hand in hand for me. So I've made those outfits. I have to wait until a couple of things dry, and then I can both show you the photo shoot and the video process I do for doing the promo, and then I will show you the listing process for WhatNot as well. But I have to wait for things to finish in the washing machine and for them to dry. So by the power of editing, it's all done. Hello, you can tell it is a different day, and everything is now dry now. So I'm going to start photographing the 20 items I have chosen. This is one of the things that I needed to clean. Look at how cool this piece is. It is from the 60s, and it is just 60s, 70s, like late 60s, early 70s. It's just a cool piece. And this is one of the things that I will be wearing and modeling later today, because what I normally like to do is oh my God, can you focus on me, please? Okay. So what I normally like to do is I like to photograph everything, get everything listed, and then put the outfits together after I've had like a really good look at everything, and then film the intro video and take some photos for my Instagrams later on. And so this is the bathroom. This is my reseller bathroom. It's just my guest half bath, but this has the best light because it gets light from this window, and then I have daylight lights on the vanity. Here, can you see? There you go. All right. You really need to see the bathroom? No, you don't really need to see the bathroom. But in addition to taking front and back photos, the label, the material tag if it's somewhere else, and then any flaws. I also have a dry erase standing desk that I use for work, and that's how I do the measurements. So let me take you down off of the stand and I will show you that as well. My standing desk, congratulations, you have now seen it. So this is a dry erase surface, which is part of the reason why I picked out this particular desk. I normally do bottoms first, so I'm just gonna write size, and then waist, hips, because I'm doing skirts, and length. And I actually spelled length correctly this time. So I'm just going to do the measurements after I photograph it and then put the size. So for vintage pieces, because vanity sizing in women's clothes changed in the mid 80s, so that it got deregulated in the mid 80s, but it didn't actually really get universally changed until the mid 90s. So I normally put what a modern size would be here, and then I would put the measurements as well. So the skirt you just saw, extra small, because the smallest measurement is 12, but it does have an elastic waist, so I might be able to fit into this to wear this. Normally when I do the measurements is when I figure out, am I actually going to be able to model this or not? So I just do this 20 times, and when I'm all done with this, I will show you actually how to list stuff to put up on auction on Whatnot. So, okay, so I have taken pictures of all 20 items that I'm going to put up for auction in my Whatnot Live, and I have taken all the measurements as well, and I have taken the weight. So the reason why I go through all this work and what seems like extra work, because as I stated before, the majority of sellers on the Whatnot app aren't doing this. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I am. It kind of sets me apart. That may or may not be a good thing, I'm not sure, but for me, I like the fact that all of my stuff is photographed and then it has measurements, so it kind of gives the buyer a little bit more confidence that maybe this is more of a professional seller. Also it also allows them to preview everything to see if, hey, is this actually an auction I'm going to be interested in watching. And then for me personally, I like to do this because of the fact that if something doesn't sell, because again, I don't have a large social media presence, which is why I say you could still make some money if you source smart, even if you don't have a large social media presence. So some stuff doesn't sell. So if it doesn't sell, I still have all the photographs, all the flaws, and all the measurements. So I can just, after the Whatnot auction is over and it hasn't sold, I can just post it up on the other platforms that I sell on. And you're like, well, if you've taken all that time and energy and effort, why aren't you just listing it on those other platforms? That's a great question. So I have mentioned it before, I have ADHD. And if you also have ADHD, you know that having a deadline is sometimes the only motivator you have to do something. So people with ADHD have a great ability to procrastinate until the very last minute, and I am not an exception to that rule. And because I am my own boss now, I don't have anybody giving me deadlines or whatever. So if I were just to give myself, oh, well, I need to have these 20 things listed by the end of the day, do I really? No. But because it's a live auction that other people are going to be coming and watching, it is giving me that deadline. Like, I need to have this stuff done. So it's actually forcing me to do 20 listings, if that makes sense. That's why I do it. You do not have to do it. Again, you don't have to put anywhere near as much effort as I put into this. So now that I've talked way too much about a many asides, I'm now going to show you how to actually list something on Whatnot for your live auction. So we're gonna go back over to the little symbol. I'm gonna scoot over here. So I've opened up my Whatnot app, and then I'm going to go to that little smiley person symbol at the bottom corner. Click over to seller. You see there are two of me still. And I'm going to click on the most recent show because that is the show that I'm going to be listing these items on. You can see I said offerings will go live by noon the day of. I'm doing things a little bit early because I want to get this video out. Again, double accountability. This is how I make myself get stuff done as being someone who is self-employed. This is what I have to do for myself. So I'm going to hit plus which is that little circle with the plus. So what I like to do is the pictures first, because otherwise I'll forget what I'm doing. You click pictures and then do this up here, and then you could do the front. Second option, it needs to be highlighted, and then you click the little picture icon. I'll do the back, picture icon, and then I do the tag, picture icon, and then I do the measurements. Now, do you need to do any of this if you're not going to do pictures? Absolutely not. But this helps remind me, again, I've already gone into why I do pictures. So now that I have all 4 pictures that I want up, I'm going to hit complete. So now I remember what I'm listing. And since it's right here, I know that this is 4 ounces because this is 100% polyester and this is lightweight polyester. I could just click the 4 to 7 ounce pre-tab, but I'm not going to do that because of the fact that I do not want WhatNot to raise their shipping prices again. I am putting exact weights in. I'm probably the only one doing that, but you know what? If prices get raised again, it's not my fault. I did what I needed to do. If other people on this app are not doing what they're supposed to do, I can't babysit them. So 4, and then you see ounce, pound, gram, and kilo. I'm guessing at some point, you know what? No. I don't want to know why they have grams and kilos on there. We're just going to go 4 ounces, all right? 4 ounces. And then we're going to come up here. I'm going to product name. So this is Vintage 60s Evan Picone. So this is a women's and ladies show, so everybody's going to know it's women's. So we're going to do, well, actually I have one piece that's unisex, so we'll go ahead and just do medium. Is it medium large? Yeah, okay. So we'll do M/L. Red pussy bow, which by the way is something that you can type as a seller, but you cannot have, the chat can't type that word, even though that's literally what it's called. Red pussy bow, geometric top. And that's misspelled. All right, yay. All right, so the description. In here, I like to put what it's made out of. So this is 100% polyester. I also like to put if there are any flaws, so this has no flaws, hooray. And then I like to put where it's made. I don't remember where this one is made. This one is made in the United States because it's from the 60s. Some of their 60s pieces were also made in Japan, but we're just gonna assume it's the USA. I can't tell because the tag is too faded. So we're just gonna go with made in the USA. And then scroll down and that's it, add. And it will do the little spinny wheel of too long of waiting. And then you're done. So if I go into the store, it now shows up in my store. So I'll do it one more time so that way you guys can see, and actually you can do it right from here. So once you check your store, you can hit plus, and then you could add your next piece. So again, I'm gonna go to the photos just so I can remember what I'm listing. And we're gonna pull this up. Let's do this Pendleton piece. So front, again, I have to wait until it's highlighted. I'm gonna do the tag, Pendleton, made in the USA, the back, and then the measurements. So this is actually from the 80s, so I'm gonna hit complete. Custom weight, so this is actually a heavy poly cotton. I think it's poly cotton, pretty sure it's poly cotton. So this is actually pretty heavy, so this one is 11 ounces. So I'm gonna do just go ahead and do the 8 to 11 ounce because 11 ounce is the highest amount. That's the only time I do that. It's just because it's easier than having to type the stupid thing. All right, so I'm gonna go vintage, hello, vintage, 80s, Pendleton, medium, well, we'll go size 8, because that's what it is. USA made, cottage core shirt. It's got like this leaf, so I would either put cottage core or plant mom on there if I were listing this by myself. So we're gonna put made in the USA, and then I have to double check because I forgot if it's either 100% cotton or it's a poly cotton blend, and I can't remember off the top of my head, and I did not take a good enough photo, so that's on me. Made in the USA, and then I'll just put no flaws, and then I'll come back later and edit it, and I can actually show you how to edit that. So I've got everything that I can add right now. I'm gonna hit add. What are you wanting? Why? Okay, there we go. So now it shows up in my thing. Give me a second, I'll be right back and I will show you how to edit. Okay, so I am very glad I checked. So again, we're gonna open the WhatNot app and say you found a flaw or you put the wrong description or something in there. Go back to your little picture, click over to seller, click the one you wanna edit, click your store. And so I want to edit the Pendleton piece to say that it is 100% rayon. So I'm going to hit edit item after I click on it. You cannot change the pictures. So if you need to change the pictures, you just have to delete it, which kind of sucks. I'm not quite sure why you can't update the photos, but you know what? I didn't develop this app. So it's 100% rayon and then hit confirm. And it's updated, and you can see it's updated here in the list. So that's how you list, and I just have to do this now 18 more times. So I have pulled a few outfits to do a, you know, preview reel, to do a preview video. Again, I put a little bit more effort into mine than some people do. Some people just like flip through a rack and show what they're gonna do in their preview reel. Some people make a joke reel. My friend Matt likes to do that quite often. It's very funny. And some people, like I said, just leave their picture up and don't even bother to put a video at all. I like to show stylized shots of, I like to do a stylized video of the items that I am putting up for offer on WhatNot. One, because again, I've talked about it before, content. I am a content creator in addition to being a reseller. So it allows me to make TikToks, it allows me to make reels, it allows me to make shorts, it allows me to put up Instagram content because the boy can take pictures of me. My partner can take pictures of me in the outfits and it looks really cute because again, I'm styling them. So I'm getting content out of the extra effort and hopefully it'll make people more enticed to buy the items. So, I mean, personally for you, would you rather buy this or would you rather buy this? There's a reason why most retailers have models show their products on a body. It's for that reason, because this is boring. This is slightly less boring. I mean, they're still clothes, so I mean, as long as you're not naked, does it really matter? No, because fashion is transient, and as long as you wear what you like, that's all that matters. So I don't know if any of this was helpful. I just wanted to show you a beginning to end of my process. If you guys want to see what an actual, like how this turns out, like how I do with my WhatNot Live, I will have those links down below. Again, if you are new to WhatNot, I've never heard of it before, I do have an invite down there for you. You'll get $10 off of your first purchase. And just so you know, the $10 does not count towards shipping. I know that some people when they join the app don't realize that. So that $10 credit is only to the purchase price, not to the shipping price. And then as well, I also have a seller referral. So if you have been on WhatNot and you've just been kind of hesitant if you want to join, that seller referral to help get your foot in the door is also down below. Again, I will state that if you are female or identify as female or non-binary, chances are you will have a little bit of a better advantage to getting on the app as a seller than if you are male. Because again, they have a predominantly 30 and under male demographic. So if you are either selling stuff that appeals to that demographic or you look like someone who appealed to that demographic, you will probably have a really good chance on the app. But if more women and non-binary people are on the app, maybe that will change and everybody will have equal ability to sell everything on the app. That would be lovely. So that's it for me. Again, I hope this is helpful and I will see you in a couple days for another video. Or maybe on WhatNot. Bye!